for being here as we examine the preparations for the census of 2020. Hard to believe, but it's coming up before us, and in fact, it's less than 4 years away. So now is the time to identify problems while they can still be remedied. Today's hearing is especially important given the modernization efforts undertaken by the census as it attempts to control the rising costs of administering the decennial census. The cost of counting individuals has gone up roughly 500% since 1970, and cost estimates for the 2020 census have exceeded $17 billion. I appreciate the Bureau taking proactive steps to save taxpayer dollars by adopting new technologies to increase efficiency and lower costs. That is the whole premise of technology. It's supposed to make life easier, simpler, more efficient, and more effective, and we can extrapolate the data more quickly. But in the Bureau's effort to cut the price tag for the 2020 census, it may have bitten off a little bit more than it can chew. And we're here to get on the record and talk about and have candid discussions about the realities of moving forward. The Bureau is attempting to modernize through two separate programs, the 2020 Census and the Census Enterprise Data Collection and Processing Program, also known as CEDCAP. It is the Bureau-wide program to digitize and modernize not only the decennial census, but all of the surveys that are conducted by the Bureau. And among the different systems being updated, they are the mobile device platform, an internet response platform, and programs to manage enumerators. But right now, as best we can tell, the Bureau is 0 for 17, that is 0 for 17, in its efforts to execute final versions of the IT necessary for these modernization efforts. With only a year and a half before the 2018 end-to-end test, the Bureau cannot afford to dither on decisions and risk failing to test aspects of the modernization program. Failure to be ready for the 2018 test can mean for the first time that first-time systems were tested actually in 2020, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Allowing the 2020 census to proceed with untested programs and risk another healthcare.gov fiasco must not happen. By all accounts, the Bureau does not have a clear backup plan in place in its modernization efforts to be completed on time. And it's a bit incomprehensible because for the 2010 census, the Bureau attempted a far less expansive modernization effort utilizing custom-built mobile enumeration device that ultimately failed. This is the widget, if you will, the gadget. This is a $3 billion mistake that happened. $3 billion, and it didn't work and had to be trashed, and we don't want to have to go through that again. It was a real problem. The challenges facing the successful execution of the Bureau's plan for the 2020 census extend beyond merely the actual systems. Problems exist in both staffing and the cost realm as well. The Bureau has had a number of long-term vacancies in key positions. It was just Monday of this week that the Bureau announced the appointment of a permanent Chief Information Officer, Kevin Smith, roughly 11 months since the departure of the previous CIO. We're glad that Mr. Smith is joining us. He's not here on the panel today. I thought it would be a little unfair, day 4 of his new employment, to call him before Congress, but he has a massive task in front of him. I look forward to working with Mr. Smith and make sure that our committee is fully integrated with what's happening and not happening. Today, however, vacancies in key leadership positions remain, including the Chief Information Technology Security Officer for CEDCAP. Obviously, the sensitivity of the data is of most concern. The Bureau is also experiencing problems related to the cost of its modernization efforts. The GAO, who's represented here today, and the Department of Commerce Inspector General feel that the Bureau is inaccurately estimating the cost for the census. The Bureau has estimated that its modernization efforts will cost around $548 million. However, GAO states that an independent estimate is nearly twice that amount. Based on the Bureau's efforts of being successful, it is estimated the cost will actually be closer to $1.1 billion. That is not an insignificant difference, and we're here to explore in part today why the difference in such a vast, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in difference. I'd like to thank all of you in advance for your participation and your testimony here today. look forward to working with you, and we will have regular hearings as the Oversight and Government Reform Committee does have jurisdiction in this matter. We'll now recognize the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Maloney, for her opening statement.